Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video I'll be discussing the DC Comics New 52 Catwoman Volume 3 trade, Death of the Family, collecting issues 13 through 18, as well as the Zero issue, respectively. Now, I hope I'll be referring to these names correctly when I say the volume is written by Ann Nocenti, with art primarily by Rafa Sandoval, as well as Adriana Mello, Emanuela Lupacchino, Jordi Tarragona, Julio Ferrara, Jamie Mendoza, Sonia Oback, Jason Wright, and Gabe Itaeb, and letters by Carlos M. Manguel, Travis Lanham, and Desi Cienti, respectively. The volume also features select alternate cover art by Tony S. Daniel, Tomu Mori, and Gilliam March. In this third New 52 outing for Selina Kyle, things are about to get a bit topsy-turvy, as she immediately has the Joker's sights set on her. It's mind games aplenty as the Clown Prince attempts to spur on any psychological reaction he can. First dumping onto her a couple of toys that her former friend and confidant Lola once kept prior to her untimely demise at the hands of thugs who sought Selina herself, for which she blames herself. Joker then remains tucked neatly away in the shadows as his next plan unfolds, involving a city-wide life-size chess game. Selina is introduced to a middleman of sorts and tough guy by the name of Trip Winter, who has been contracted by an unknown party to make unwarranted red cheating moves involving the trumping of a white queen with a black. Selina uncovers, however, much to her dismay, that people are being held captive inside the oversized game pieces. The horror of the following exploding of the white queen piece leads Catwoman scrambling to save the orphan boy Milo, who's contained in the black. Ready to intervene is the Joker himself, who notes that the boy has dynamite strapped to his chest, but offers his safe release should Catwoman follow him willingly back into hell. She does so, quite literally saving the boy via the hellhole ride at the Gotham amusement park, wherein Selina nearly has her skin taken off before being forcibly stripped and suited up with a costume that the Joker has made with a paralyzing feature. The Joker continues to toy with her with a game of strip poker, only the real gist behind all of his games is that he wants to twist Catwoman into a villain, one worthy of the Batman, or so he suggests. But when Selina is unyielding in her refusal to either be more like the madman himself, nor admit, as the Joker insists she should, that she cares and even loves the Dark Knight, Joker effectively grows bored with her and lets her free. But not without one last dig at the feline thief, as when she removes his paralytic costume, she is now tattooed from head to toe with hundreds of small black bat symbols. Quite mad indeed. After a shower, Selina gets on with the rest of her misadventures as a thief in the night, with the mutual guidance of her fence and friend Gwen Altamont, as well as the occasional latent appearances of Trip Winter. Burgling a Gotham City high-rise's well-to-do penthouse, whose only occupants are a bunch of elitist and moronic party animal teenagers, whilst the parents are away, for one, and the theft of an all-encompassing of oddity black jewel kept under guard in the A.R.G.U.S facility that, when freed, awakens many a dark and demonic soul, as well as a mysterious band of suit-wearing gangsters utilizing Gotham's miscreant youth as a means by which to run narcotics, which may or may not relate back to the Penguin. And finally, a cast of paintings straight out of the Gotham Museum, which, as it turns out, the Batman holds in very high regard and wishes returned. It seems the Joker's games have spread across the entirety of the Bat family at this point, and have taken their toll on the Dark Knight himself, the only solace he seems to find being the chasing down of said artworks and confronting Selina head-on, who serves to comfort him enough with a shoulder to lean on, albeit briefly. But the true table-turning event in the volume, however, being featured largely as a flashback in the Zero issue itself, is the New 52 origin of Catwoman, which is not entirely but almost a complete and utter rip-off of the origin depicted in the film Batman Returns, which is, at least to me, rather unfortunate. And it touches on the one overarching problem to be found concurrently spread throughout the volume, in that there is a lot of really good solid material at work that is unfortunately occasionally bogged down by slightly out-of-place ideas. The supernatural aspects of the Black Jewel thievery in A.R.G.U.S being a prime example. It just didn't seem to entirely fit to me, suddenly having material much better suited to a Justice League dark novel crammed into the center of a Catwoman volume. However, these things considered, the New 52 Catwoman Volume 3 is by and large intriguing and riveting in places. Selina's continuing concern for the orphan boy Milo's well-being, and her own history as a child within the system, being a welcomed, if frightening in places, investigation of her past. past, as well as in her confronting of her own feelings about the Batman, as spurred on by the Joker. It's largely Selina trying to understand her conflicted feelings about him, which offers us an interesting and vulnerable window into her mind. And Nocenti brings a crisp and whip-smart, if matter-of-fact, persona across in Selina Kyle, as well as Catwoman, that manages to well complement the work of previous writer Judd Winnick. Yet do I think, amidst the grounded and engaging aspects of the unfolding story, does the writer yet lose sight of the more moderate story elements for those grandiorish, the Demon Jewel and the Origin, respectively, which make the overall narrative feel a bit jarring in places. Rafa Sandoval's pencils, however, bring Volume 3 much closer to the style seen and much preferred by me in the first volume by Gilliam March. The colors truly harmonizing with that first volume and leveling the content of this one so as to make it feel a much more natural successor in writing and visual style than the second volume had. The Zero issue being again a standout, and not for the better, as this, as much of Volume 2 was largely drawn by Adriana Mello, whose work I just don't have a particular taste for. With overly stylized faces and those usually being very bug-eyed, it just serves to further contrast the artwork for the rest of the volume, which is pretty much stellar in my opinion. And so overall, I'd have to rate the New 52 Catwoman Volume 3 Death of the Family trade a 4 out of 5, as moreover it was a thoroughly engaging, enjoyable, and intriguing read, with beautiful art all throughout. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what your impressions on Catwoman Volume 3 are, if you've read it, and otherwise if you'll be picking it up. And that'll be it for me on this one. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.